Yeah, we're live. Hola, everybody. ¿Cómo estás?
Hola, señor.
That's all the Spanish you're going to get from me today because that's all the Spanish I've got. Everybody, hello, welcome, bienvenue, salam alaikum, ohayo gozaimasu, or konnichiwa, depending on where you are in the world.
Oh, konbanwa.
Or konbanwa. Welcome to the Naked Famous Denim live stream, the greatest live stream in the history of all live streams on the internet and for perhaps whatever becomes after the internet.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to talk to you guys about denim, and denim, all things denim related, because you guys are here for that type of content. We provide you with all the denim news that you can use. The Naked Famous Denim live stream, sponsored by Naked Famous Denim, the makers of these fine mugs and perhaps a few other things. I'm just warming up here. My brain's Mikasa is still, I know I said that was going to be my only Spanish, but had a little bit more left in the tank there. I'm still waking up. It's early here in Japan.
It's not a great morning.
No, it's very rainy. We've had some typhoon action here. Maybe more typhoon action will hit us during the stream. We'll see. Maybe we'll have other natural disasters hit us up on the stream. You never know. This is a live stream, so everything and anything is possible. Everybody, welcome. Let's see where everyone's tuning in from.
Yes.
This might get my the gears in motion, and we'll bring up some topics about denim related stuff. And of course, we're here to answer your questions live, and we'll see where it goes. I'm sure we're going to get into some off topics at some point.
That's how you know that it's not scripted.
No script here. No prompter, just everything off the cuff. Denim related. See?
Pun intended.
You got it. Solvents, hello from Scotland. Pronounced Scotlando here in Japan. Wearing my MIJ12s. Hope you guys are well. Thank you very much. And we're doing great. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. James F. I wear my pants to dance, but also when I go on rants.
Nice.
I'm going to say...
Nice rhyme there.
That's what I do too. BD feels like 37 degrees in southern Ontario, but I'm still in the Wonderlooper, double heavyweight, and King of Slub 2. That's because you are a soldier, Mr. BD. You are a trooper.
37 in Ontario.
Yeah. Also, great job with the denim vest.
Yes, I saw it.
I saw it. It looks fantastic. Yeah. You transformed your Toxic Avenger jacket into a Toxic Avenger battle vest.
It looked really tough.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool. We're going to show that off. We're going to go over some Instagrams today as well. I saw a couple of cool outfits on there. I thought I would share them with the community. Pierre Moreau, hello from Guelph, scored some great deals on the sale. That's right. Good reminder. We've got a Tate+Yoko and a little bit of Naked Famous Denim New York. Labor Day weekend sale going on right now. We'll show off some of the deals going on there, but there is a live sale happening right now. Stephen Kopelkamp in the heat wave. The heat wave is almost gone. I'll be back in my Elephant 12s before I know it.
I'm starting to feel that too. Last night it was very cold.
Japan is starting to chill out. Maybe that rain is helping, but we'll see. It'll get a little humid after the rain.
It's already humid.
Yeah, it's very humid, but it's typhoon season, so we're gonna get a lot of precipitation. There you go. There's a 10-cent word for you. Participation.
Exactly.
For my Ontarian or Canadian friends, participation. Now let's see if anybody gets that reference. Participation. Fixed Spiral writes, howdy from the mountains of western North Carolina. Well, thank you for tuning in. I'm still waking up. Right 75. Hello from Birmingham, UK. I've been wearing my Elephant X for a few days. Good to see some heavy weights are starting to come back into play, or never went out of play, despite the heat out there. But it is starting to cool down. You could even here, despite it is typhoon season and it's still in the low 30s, but the temperatures are definitely coming down a little bit. Chris Griffin wearing my Ocean's Edge today, soaking my cerulean kursuri, not too dirty, and washing my Blue Jay with my new Washboard. Very dirty. Awesome. Some Washboard fades. Hopefully will happen there. I like the idea of Washboard washing your raw jeans, because that's how the jeans were washed back then. If you think about the vintage jeans, many of them were washed on washboards. So if you want to get that authentic washboard abs. If you want authentic vintage fades, I would say the next hardcore step is to wash your jeans on a washboard. Not just not washing your jeans, because certainly they washed their jeans back then.
Yeah.
But to wash them manually, scrubbing them, giving them a lot of abrasion, that probably helped with those fades back then.
Did they use soap back then?
I would imagine they used some sort of detergent. Maybe not as scientifically engineered as it is now.
Yeah, they probably used what you use to wash your body and everything.
Yeah, like a bar of soap or something.
They probably didn't have a difference.
This is something that is worth exploring. Laundry in the early 1900s.
I mean, I'm sure that didn't happen often.
Not as often as today, perhaps. Yeah. Anyways, well, that's a topic we got to look into. It needs delving into. Okay. I'm going to skip down a little bit. If I missed you, don't just message me again. Mr. T. Jones writes, a.k.a. DJ Jupiter Williams here from Portland, Oregon. All right. Well, the DJ is in the house. Craig writes, I just got home from work and my Fox Fiber True guys arrived. Also won the word of the week, and I love the tate. I love the tote and stickers. Oh, you won the word of the week. Fantastic. Yeah. Craig, you got the apron. The Naked Famous Denim made Japanese made aprons.
Was it? He said tote.
He says tote, but did you get the tote and the apron? I don't know. There was an apron to be given away. So we made these very cool aprons here in Japan many years ago. Actually, let's see if I can find. I can maybe find a video of me wearing one from way back in the day. And on the last. Oh, sorry. Craig writes, the tote bag, not the apron. The apron is for the word of the week. Okay, so I'm not sure if they've given that apron away yet, but if you haven't seen the last episode of This Week at Tate+Yoko, man, my internet is not working so good.
But everybody can see it in the video. Yeah,
if you watched last week's episode, or the current episode of This Week at Tate+Yoko, there is a beautiful made in Japan indigo dyed apron. We made those up for.
The indigo dyed?
I think they were indigo dyed. They were indigo discharge dyed. Were they? I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's regular dye.
Anyhow, we made them a long time ago, and we made them up for us to wear at trade shows, just to, I don't know, jazz up our outfits a little bit. We wore them a little bit, and then we only made like 10 of them or something like that. Not that many, but they're often used here in Japan at restaurants or liquor stores. Often liquor stores.
Yeah. It's not a very restaurant kind of apron. Liquor store or like any kind of store that are like a local old school stores,
What are they called in Japanese?
I think they're called Maekake.
That's right, they are called that.
Yeah.
M-A-I.
No, M-A-E.
Oh, okay. That is the word of the day. I don't know what the heck that is. So hold on. Let's go to this, and then let's go to that. There you go. So they look like this. and they will fade. In fact, sometimes you see them at like vintage markets here, some really, really old ones that are like very nicely faded, and they have that like orange webbing for the strap, and this beautiful blue, I believe it's indigo, and the ones we have says Naked Famous in Japanese, made in Canada, and they have like a little pocket on the side. But yeah, you'll see them out and about here in Japan. And we made them, for our trade show use, just as our little, banner, I guess we could wear around our waist, promoting our products. And I guess we made enough for the staff, and there was a couple of extras, and I guess the guys in the warehouse came across some and are making one available. They've never been available to you guys before.
For it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's using that now.
Right. So if you picked up something during the sale, you definitely wanted to use the word of the day in the last week's this week at Tate+Yoko. For some people who don't know, who don't watch that program, this week at Tate+Yoko, we put up a new episode every Wednesday, and of course, among all the hilarity, that's a good word, that the warehouse guys, the Tate+Yoko staff, go through. There's also a word of the day at the end of each video. So if you use that word of the day in your comment section, you get a little extra stuff in your order. We'll throw a little extra goodies, and then there's also a prize usually every week. We'll pick one order, and we'll give them a special prize. So keep that in mind, especially if you're shopping this weekend for the sale. Writes W5 writes, arguments on Reddit coming up. Ooh, which arguments? I don't know of any arguments. So let me know if there's some spicy takes you want me to take a look at. Let me know. Okay. Craig writes, rare stuff. I do have one of the ironwood knives, at least. That's true. Those we do have another batch of knives, I guess, in some kind of works.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting delayed because we just don't have the materials ready yet.
Yeah. So, anyways, just so you know, there is something in the pipeline, but no ETA just yet. Lars writes, it's warm in Sweden, so my Craftsman salvage is lovely now. I love you. Well, we love you too. Thank you, Lars, and I hope you're enjoying your jeans. Okay, I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Oliver writes, hello from Australia. Good day. Good day.
Good day.
Wondering when the Shinigami is coming. I don't have an exact date for that yet, but it's looking like November.
Our October is packed.
Yeah, October is packed.
And they're definitely not going to be available for September at this point. So I guess October.
Yeah, let me just go over our current. These are always moving dates, by the way. Whenever I give you dates, until they're like announced on, I would say Instagram or our emails, these dates are always moving. So just to give you guys a little, I don't know what that word is, but a little bit of, so you guys know what's going on. The next release is going to be scheduled for September 12th, and that is the Blue Comfort Stretch Selvage. So we had the Blue Comfort, which I think there's some available on the sale right now. But if you're waiting, we don't have your size or whatever, there is a selvage version coming. We finally were able to make that level of weight and performance stretch in one. Blue Comfort Stretch Selvage is coming September 12th. Then into October the 3rd, Elephant 13 Red Core. So that's coming. That's going to be the first release of October. That'll be followed by October 10th, Yagasuri Denim. October 17th, Blue Wave Selvage. So that is a rinsed denim similar to what we just did with the Ocean's Edge. So now we're going to have a classic indigo, like, it's not a one-wash jean, it's a rinsed denim. So we actually washed the denim before we do cut and sew. So you get that washed denim, like, look, but, you know, raw denim style construction with very, very, you know, neat seams and everything like that. So it's kind of I really like the way those jeans come out. So you'll see a little bit more of that style of jean coming out from us, you know, in the future. And I think the Blue Wave will sort of be a repeater type of style, something that we'll keep season to season. Just as some people like, you know, they like the look of raw denim jeans. They don't necessarily always want the break-in time.
Yeah.
So for the people who want that one-wash feel, you know, sometimes if you get the raw jean, you wash it at home. You know, some people don't want to go through that hassle. They just want it to be the way they want it right when they get it. So we do the one wash on the fabric, raw construction, and that way you get the best of both worlds. They're comfortable right away. They're still going to fade. And so, anyway, I don't think anybody's really offering it the way that we do it out there on the market today. So I think it's kind of a unique way to handle it, and we'll see. We'll see how people like it. I think a lot of people are going to resonate with that. In addition, on October 17th, we've got the brushed jungle cloth jackets. So the like army-inspired, military-inspired jackets coming out in the zip jacket with this beautiful jungle cloth material. Then, October 24th, tentatively, Halloween, Michael Myers selvage. And then that'll be also accompanied with a corduroy floral paisley zip jacket. So 2 zip jackets, you know, 1 week after another. We've got the jungle cloth and the corduroy paisleys. Then on October 31st, which is where my schedule ends at the moment, we've got the Dia de los Muertos selvage. So
just making it in time for Halloween.
Yeah, so a perfect arrangement of spooky things right there at the spookiest time of the year, and that's where we are for the next little while. So between you know, the end of October and the rest of the year, we've got Forever Blue selvage, Shinigami, Deep Sea selvage, which is the brother to the Blue Wave. So anything kind of water related is going to be a rinsed jean. A rinsed denim jean. A rinsed denim jean. So blue, Deep Sea is an indigo by navy. So it's like a you know, double blue kind of jean. That'll be coming out again still before the end of the season. We've got the Indigo Empire State Selvage, which might also release sometime in October. Tentatively, if not October, then November. So if you've been waiting on those, the original classic Empire State Selvage are New York City exclusive. That'll be out, you know, October, November this year. Then we've got a Black Friday collection, which we're going to drop also, which includes a restock. Or, well, not so much a restock. It's going to be a little bit different. But the real gold selvage is coming back. So anybody who's missed that out in the past, that'll be back with a little less gold detail. The gold rivets and the gold foil leather patch have been replaced with our classic silver metallic rivets. And
buttons, right? Like
and buttons, yeah. So I feel like last time, you know, I liked all those gold details, but maybe it was a little too much gold. So the gold still is on the selvage ID, real 24 karat gold yarn, but the 18 karat gold plated buttons are not going to be on it this time. So a lot more classic on the outside. Then you flip the cuff, you get a little bit of gold to you know, bling bling there. Then we have the 10 fold selvage, which is a version of our 10-year anniversary denim. So I think it's the same fabric base, but I think the colors of the selvage ID are slightly different from what came out during final production. So there's a reissuing of like our 10-year anniversary. We're calling it the 10-fold. 10 different kinds of cottons from 10 different countries with 10 color selvage ID. So a lot of 10s in that one, and that'll be another option. And then we've got the prototype selvage, which is the prototype for what became Pickle Rick. So this was our experimentation developing the fabric base for Pickle Rick denim. And so this is the slubbiness of Pickle Rick denim without the green cast. So a classic indigo tone version of the Pickle Rick denim. We're calling it the prototype selvage because it was the prototype for that Pickle Rick denim. And then we're bringing back the Huntsman selvage. If you guys remember that one, that was a wool blend denim, unsanforized. When we made it, it was...
It was unsanforized, but we cut it in the pattern of
a sanforized. Yeah,
so it shrunk a lot after you buy it.
So there was an oopsie. So there was a sort of a limitation in terms of sizing available for the Huntsman selvage at that time.
And there was a lot of 27s and 28s available.
That shrunk even smaller. So it's we're glad to have it back as a properly cut jean. We're also going to rinse wash that jean for you, so you don't have to worry about the shrinkage. We've taken care of the shrinkage for you. You can just buy it and enjoy it right away. So that is also coming back as part of our Black Friday collection. So there's a lot of jeans coming out between now and the end of the year. We hope you enjoy. And of course, stay tuned for all the release announcements and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Let's see. Bunny writes, do you rely on a variety of denim mills in Japan, or do you only work with one? We work with a wide variety of mills here in Japan, not just for our denim, but for our shirting fabrics as well. We use... every mill's kind of got their best abilities, so we try to pull, from what they're the best at to try and bring you guys the best around. Okay. Chris Griffin writes, I absolutely love the Ocean's Edge feel. Very, very popular denim, very comfortable denim. All right. James writes, any plans for a heavyweight work shirt or heavyweight work shirt, denim work shirt? Heavyweight, we're working on it. It's been on the the to-do list, but I think we'll get it done sooner than later. Mr. T writes, wondering about the 40 ounce, and it looked like y'all were filming a documentary on it, as you should. Can't wait for them to drop. That's right. So if you follow our dear leader, Brandon Svark, he just posted a post on his Instagram. He should have tagged us, but he didn't. He's still new with technology. But he is, hold on, let's go over there. Bam, there you go. We have a camera crew in the warehouse right now as we are making some 40-ounce jeans at the moment. Now, when are they going to release? Who knows? This is all being done one pair at a time. Yeah. So it's going to be a very slow production process, and
it's not like there's a dedicated team that's making these either.
In fact, there's a dedicated person.
Well, he's not even dedicated.
Yeah.
He has other jobs.
So it's just this is one of our pattern makers, and he's going to be making each pair. And literally every single operation is going to be done on this sewing machine. It is a small human-sized sewing machine, as you can see, but an average sewing machine just fits normally on a table. The needles on this thing are like pens. They're super, super thick. This is a monster of a sewing machine. This is used to sew some of the thickest leather around, and we had to buy this specifically just to sew this jean. So And unlike, most, when you do denim production, the operations are done on machines specifically made for specific operations. This obviously is not. This is a single needle. So there's no feeders, there's no guides, there's nothing. It's just your hands. So it's going to be a process. But we're going to get them done one at a time. And we hope to have that 40-ounce jean out for you guys sooner than later. It will be very expensive. I will preempt you with that one. It will, and there's just no way around it. Yeah. We're only making a handful of these because we don't have that much fabric. You got to buy the machine. Imagine, we got to pay people. This is this is not something that you can split the work up amongst, a bunch of different people. Like you went on a production line to get like the maximum efficiency out of it. This is the most minimum amount of efficiency to make a jean because that's what it requires to make this jean. Obviously, this video is going to showcase that, but yeah.
It's also like just how like, how hard it is to make it. It's not like, obviously technically it's hard too, but it's also very like, it's a heavy thing that you have to, manipulate, and like it takes a lot of like actual physical power to make it too. So it's not like he can sit there all day and keep making these jeans. That's just not realistic.
Yeah, no.
So
yeah, Bryce W5, how many approximately? Less than 40. Less than 40. We'll see, because also with the fabric, the way the fabric is woven, there's a lot of, imperfections in it. So we have to cut around those imperfections.
Well, some will stay, but the ones that cannot stay will. Yeah. And just I think we talked about it before, but it's not going to be a perfect denim. It's not going to be a perfect jeans. It's just one of those things where you have to accept it.
Pretty much, yeah.
But we're obviously not gonna, send you the one with like a
hole in it, a giant like, gaping hole,
yarn like sticking out from in the middle of the fabric or anything like that. But yeah, that's why we don't know the yield.
Yeah, we'll find out when we find out, basically. Fixed Spiral writes, any chance you'll do a pre-order or a different release strategy for the 40-ounce? I'm not 100% sure yet how we're going to handle it.
That needs to be worked out, because if we don't know how many we can make, then we don't know how many we can sell.
Yeah, and how many we can make is going to be dependent on what sizes we need to make.
Yeah,
so there's...
it kind of feels like maybe that needs to be made and then sold.
Yeah.
Like a pre-order for your size.
I also don't know how many people are actually going to wear them.
Right. I mean, most people probably don't wear them.
Right. They might wear them once or twice as a thing, but I feel like this is going to be more of a collector's piece. So if that's the case, say most people are just going to buy them to collect them. If we just say we made like Weird Guy 32, that might be the most efficient way to handle everything.
Perhaps.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You know what I think we should at least do? Make it available only to people who have like purchased at our Tate+Yoko before.
100%.
Yeah.
I think we've been talking about this, and there was a talk about like a list or something like that. But I think we need to keep it available for our most involved customers.
Yeah.
Say.
I would say that there's.
If we don't sell it at all, then maybe we can
I think our most involved customers might get a call from us first. Perhaps that and that might sound unfair to some people, but you have to understand that there are some people who are very, very avid supporters, collectors, like to a level that some people in the chat are some of those people. And I think that we also have to honor that. Yeah.
Because it's like, the thing is, like, we are, like, a lot of the things we make are because of people like people that are the most involved customers. Like the idea comes from them, the push comes from them.
Yeah.
Like we need to, when we have a new idea, like we need to gauge that, just the interest level, and that always comes from, this crew. So it is only fair that we give them a chance.
Right. So
but I don't know how we're gonna.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see how we handle that. I also kind of wanted. I don't know if we're gonna do it. I'm thinking about it. I kind of wanted to do for the Halloween denim because every time we do the horror releases, they go by so fast, and then we get flooded with hate mail. I don't know what it is about
the horror
ones, but like we get like the angriest people who are like, I didn't get one, it's sold out. I'm like, when are you better make one available for me. Like, just there's some anger in there. I don't know. Anyhow, so I might do it like this, where maybe this is going to cause even more anger. I don't know. But if we were, say you were like a newsletter subscriber, we're going to say like maybe like a day before the release, we'll say like there's 50 pairs available.
Like link
available. Here's an exclusive link. If you're a newsletter subscriber, like just, between me and you guys, our live stream audience, our most devoted audience, maybe we'll do something like that, where it's like, if you're a subscriber for the newsletter, and we'll tell you in advance that the link is going to be sent out on whatever day at whatever time. But again, it's not going to be on the Instagram. It's not going to be like maybe even on This Week at Tate+Yoko. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to keep it between us, okay? But it's possible that we have like a link that is sent out, and then like a batch of them are available to our most devotees early. I don't know. I was just thinking about that. You know why? Because I there's a poster company. It's called Bottleneck Gallery, and I buy a lot of posters from them, like art posters, movie posters, that kind of stuff. And oftentimes for their newsletter subscribers, they call them their members.
Like a first dibs.
Yeah, they do a first dibs. So like if you are, like, I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's just open to everyone on the newsletter. I'm not sure. But you'll get like an email like the day before the general release saying, hey, we've made X amount of these pieces available, and you can get it now. You're our most devoted, so we're going to give you a shot at it first. Which I think is actually quite nice, because once the general release happens, like they're gone. They're always gone. Everything they release just flies. So I remember one time I was on their website. I'm like, oh yeah, they have enough of these, and and I don't know, they sell out so fast, and I'm just like, I had it in my cart. Anyways, I think that maybe there's a way that we could support our most devoted supporters in a way that's different than a general release.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. I just, I mean, I think link is a good idea. Email subscriber, yes, but,
yeah,
who knows? Maybe our subscription number goes up, really.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I want to make it, I could also maybe figure out the email list where it's like, if you signed up for the newsletter but you've never purchased before, like,
I'm sure there's a ton of people like that,
right?
And just like it's difficult. Or maybe we just like tell people about that link in the middle of our to our live stream.
Yeah, I mean this is deep into we're 30 minutes in right now, but this is deep enough that like if you're a very if you're here now, you're part of it, right? Yeah. If you're just a very casual, like click on for the first few minutes and out, hey, I love you. Thank you so much for joining us. But
Right.
like, you know, I like hiding stuff deep in a live stream. So it's
Yeah.
like, it's a deep track.
Right,
Only
right.
those who know kind of know.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, clearly we didn't have a plan and we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So you guys are in the inner circle.
yeah, this is live brainstorming. We'll see. We'll keep you posted. You guys will be up to date with all that stuff. Jameson Keating writes, create a second Tate+Yoko website that is only accessible through a password that you send out to the privileged ones. That's
It's just another website that we need to manage,
Yeah.
and that's not fun.
right. I like the idea though. I kind of like there's
Well,
a secret
like
there's a secret key. Maybe
Yeah.
there's like a product that
Password-protected page.
yeah
That's
yeah
possible.
That's
We're not gonna have a separate website,
Yeah,
but
but-
password protected page.
Okay, I like that. That's a good idea. All right, we'll see. Jose Cabrera writes, any way you guys can make wallets from the scraps of the 40 ounce?
I don't know.
Well,
It's gonna be a. But I like the idea of using scraps because you
Yeah.
don't want to waste.
right, and at least maybe by using the scraps in some way, maybe not wallets, in some way, we could figure it out. We could get everybody a little piece of it, just a
Piece of
you know,
history.
you can have a piece of history. That's it. So we'll see. That's a very good idea. Also, see, that's why we do these things. Buster Jenkins writes, have us all leave a secret message on one of your Instagrams. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I like the idea of a little bit of a secret. We are the denim elite. The elite. Elite.
For life.
For life. Will the lizard card cases restocked? Missed the ivory, Oliver writes. I'm gonna suspect yes.
That's a Brandon question.
Yeah, that's a branding question. But
That ivory was very nice, actually.
yeah.
Very classy looking.
So I'm sure they will I'm gonna go with I'm pretty sure they will.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
pretty sure they
like
will. They were
Brandon, I
popular,
guess.
so I'm pretty sure they will. Spencer writes, 40-ounce belt loop keychain. Definitely possible. Definitely possible.
Yeah, what is the best way? We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah. We'll figure out what we can do, but we will make use of it the best way possible. Okay. I like that everyone's kind of coming up with good ways to have a secret sale on the website somehow, but yeah, we will keep you posted. We will find out the best way, and we will make sure that our devotees are rewarded for being devotees. You know, you guys keep us. You guys keep the engines running, right? So we gotta thank you in more ways than one. Okay. Jameson Keating, the joke's on you guys. I've already received the secret 40-ounce request. It will self-destruct in the next 30 seconds. Ha 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 ha. There's no secret request, guys. Just that was a little bit of sarcasm there, in case you couldn't tell. Spencer Thompson writes, have you already announced which cuts they'll be available in? That has not been announced yet. So stay tuned.
Yeah, it has to be either weird guy or true guy, I feel.
Yeah, I think so. Andrew Furusawa, you can just sell the scraps by weight. I would totally buy some. I think we'll make some kind of little product. You know, because the thing with scraps is that the problem with scraps is sizes are always few and far, but you know, they're random, right?
Well,
and
I mean,
especially the way this is going to be cut, it's going to be random. So, you know, it's hard to like guarantee like what we can and can't make out of them. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when we get the scraps.
It's not a good look if we were to sell scraps of like little.
No. I don't want to.
scraps,
I don't want to
yeah.
sell just like
It's
weird
just-
cuts of fabric.
It's not.
I'd rather
like
make
a
something.
proper thing. Yeah.
Alec B writes, what price range generally for the 40 ounce? 800 US, 500 US?
More, way more. I think.
Way more.
Yeah.
Like a lot
that's-
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just it. There's
There is zero efficiency. There's
Yeah.
like negative efficiency
Yeah.
here, and also very expensive fabric. It took us years and years
Yeah.
to develop,
And years to just make them. Like
Yeah.
the trouble of making this jean, we will, even at whatever price we sell them at, we're gonna make no money on this.
Yes, 100%.
There's-
This is not for making money. This
Yeah.
is just us being like, we have to be the
Yeah.
heaviest denim.
Yeah, this is just passion project. We're gonna make it. There's no benefit. Like whatever price we sell it at, there's gonna be nothing in it for us.
Right.
Um,
And that's also kind of why, like, you know, even though we don't have a ton, we can't make it a lot, but it will be okay because I don't think everybody should buy this. It's jeans. It's way too much. I don't, you know, unless the money is no objects and you're completely fine with it, then that's fine. But, you know, I don't want anybody to be like, oh, should I buy this?
Yeah, if
know,
this is
if
between
it's
like rent and buying these jeans, pay your rent. Pay your rent. You know, we will do
Or
our best.
get that surgery or something.
Yeah,
like that.
get the surgery. Don't.
Yeah, don't sacrifice anything for this.
They're wonderful jeans. We'll do our best to make scrap-based products, not scrap products, but products based off of the scraps, available at a reasonable price. So anybody who wants a taste of it
Yes.
can get a taste of it, and you know, I think
Yes.
that way we'll have everyone satisfied. Yeah. Bucharest, just make a VIP list with the people that spend the most of the money buying denim, and then send them an email in advance if they prefer to buy in advance certain sizes of of items. Look, I don't want to make it like if I just if I just go after that list, I know that if I go one at a time, top spender down, I'm gonna sell it all to just those people.
And
But I don't want to just leave it just for
Just
the
a
top
number.
of the top, right?
because some people
Yeah.
spend money on other like retail outlets, but also us are like biggest
Yeah.
customers
Yeah.
too. So like it's not fair that like just because you bought from Tate+Yoko or Naked Famous Denim New York City, because those are the only information we can have, we can get hold of.
Yeah.
We don't know what retailers are selling.
But I also don't want to make it like a battle that is won simply by
yes.
open. Some people have bigger wallets than others, right? And look, and as much as we appreciate all the business that they've given us, if I just take every rare item and only give it to those guys,
then we're just as bad as H company.
Yeah, some of those luxury companies. I don't want it to be like that. I want our devoted audience to have, access more than, say, someone who's, look, I appreciate even new business, but if, we might catch somebody's eye in the world and they're like, well, I want to get that 40-ounce jean because it's they saw it, it's interesting to them. But, they don't have any like history with the brand. I feel kind of bad if that person gets it versus the guy who's been with us for 10 years, they have, a dozen or more pairs of our jeans and they really, really wanted it too, right? Like I have more of a duty to that customer versus, that's a fresh customer. So if I did a very general release, I risk the chance of someone who's not a devoted customer of getting that item over a devoted customer. So I want to find a way to make sure that the devoted customer gets it, but not just the top spenders. We love you, top spenders. We do. And I'm sure, look.
Yeah. It just, it's, yes. Because how much money you spend with us are not the only indication. Like I said, it's impossible to gauge that actually, because we do wholesale. Yeah. But also, it's just, it's not all about money.
Yeah.
Somebody can buy their way into this easily. Probably some people have a lot of money, but that's just not fair. And I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So we'll figure out the right way to make sure that our devoted audience is getting their chance at these. There won't be many.
Yeah.
And then, what we can do with, the rest of the fabric, some kind of small product, so that, everybody who wants a piece of it will get a chance to have a piece of it.
Yeah.
I know it's not, the same as having a jean, but also, having a trinket made from this fabric is going to be a lot more economical and maybe even in a lot of ways more useful than having that, that mammoth of a jean.
Yeah.
So anyways, we'll find out the best way to do it. It's a balancing act, but we're still getting ahead of ourselves in a lot of ways because I do not have a release date for these yet. We have not figured that out yet. So give us a little time. Okay. KAW writes, will MIJ banners ever come back? Yes. I do not have I don't have a restock date on that yet, but
somebody's working on that.
We'll get that back in stock. Pedro writes, no scalpers, no bots. I don't think we run into that problem. Yeah, it's
how insane. Like, it's not something that you can. Yeah. Well, that's also why we should have a secret code, probably, or list, or
we would also. I remember one time we had back in remember Sierra. Sierra was the manager at Tate+Yoko before Garrett, and we did some kind of raffle on our website. Forget what it was, but it was like a sign up.
Akuma
it was for the Akuma re-release or something like that, where we're like, sign up for the raffle, and then we'll like pick names, and then we'll email you, and then so it was something like that. So I'm gonna call them very highly intelligent people decided that, hey, let's spam the raffle thing, and they just entered their name in like 100 gajillion times, and we're like, okay, so anybody who's entered their name more than once, you're out. We're not going to delete all of your entries, except for one. Yeah. We're just going to delete all your entries. I'm like, we're not that dumb. Like, oh wow, this person really wanted it, so they entered this contest 100,000 times.
Yeah.
Come on.
Some people just don't know how to live.
Like
in this society.
Yeah, just don't do that. And if you do it, we're gonna see it. So, not smart.
That would work against you.
Yeah, it definitely would work against you. That's right. So we'll figure out the best way to do it, and we will get there. Rice W5 was Garrett wearing the 40-ounce 1-of-1 prototype. He was wearing the first prototype. We have made another sample or two since then.
Yeah.
But he wore the first pair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Emerson writes, thank you for your time. Bahzad and Risa, digging your selection of Schott at Tate+Yoko. What are the goods and bads, if any, of the horsehide? I actually leave a lot of the Schott selection these days to Garrett. Garrett is a leather jacket lover, as you guys know, but I think the real benefit of the horsehides is it's like luster and shine. Like, it really has a beautiful look to it. And I think they wear even tougher than like the calfskins. So if you like that real, like, I would say tough guy looking leather jacket look, that is
luxurious tough guy. Yeah. It's very like European in my opinion. It's very like fancy.
Yeah, if you like blue jeans, white t-shirt, leather jacket, like get one of those Schott horsehides. And I would also say another very, very good about the Schott stuff is that they are priced very well. They're priced very well. They're expensive jackets for a jacket. Like in terms of like dollars, there's a lot of money to spend on a jacket. But in the world of horse hide leather jackets, in the world of like premium leather jackets, I find the Schott prices are really, really good. Like you can go to some of those artisanal, leather jacket makers, but sometimes what you're really paying for, of course, maybe there's some details here and there that are very fine. They look at some vintage jackets and they try to recreate things and like that. But you're definitely paying for the artisanal part of it in the sense that like these are smaller productions, right? Yeah. So the efficiency level isn't there. Schott's been making these jackets since the start, right?
And they make a lot,
right? And they're still run by the Schott family.
Yeah,
it's a historic brand that's been around since the beginning. So when you look at these military jackets and you're like, oh wow, that this is a vintage repro. Yeah, Schott isn't reproing it. They never stopped making it. They invented it, and then they made it all throughout this time. So there's a lot of history in Schott. Perfecto, specifically made in America. It's great products, great prices, great people. I'm always and have always been a very strong supporter of Schott. Like we don't sell like the most Schott jackets in the world on Tate+Yoko, but we love having them in the store. And they look great on our staff. They look, the people who come in and get them, they love them. I wish we sold more jackets. But we try to bring in like the ones that we find like work really, really well with our jeans and our customer base. So anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic combo, jeans and leather jacket. And it's nice to have that because we're never gonna make
Yeah, we're not getting into the leather jacket business.
Yeah, because there are people like Schott that are doing this for way better than we could ever imagine to do. So it's like what's the point? At this point.
So instead of making our own, I'd much rather say go get a Schott jacket. You will be happy with it, and it's a jacket that you will wear. You will give it to your child, and your child will give it to their child. Or when you die, they're just gonna dump it at the Goodwill.
Or vintage shop, like a cool vintage shop.
Either way, when you're long gone, somebody else is gonna be wearing that jacket.
Very likely.
That's the kind of jacket that it is. So that's another like big pro for Schott jackets. It's not like a fast fashion, leather jacket. It is a classic jacket through and through. Those styles are not gonna go away, and you will have it for your life and somebody else's life. It is a hand-me-down type of product, that's for sure. Christopher writes, my wife got me a Schott 63 as a wedding gift when we got married.
Aww,
well, there you go.
Sweet.
And if you have children, I'm sure they will appreciate that jacket when you hand it down to them at some point. That is definitely a hand-me-down jacket.
Especially if your wife gave it to you.
Very special. Maybe your children will fight over it. You're going to have to cut it in half.
Maybe just have one kid so that they don't have to fight over it.
Problem solved. Sorry, other kid.
Sorry if you already have more than one
One's
job.
going to have to go to the orphanage. We have to... we just didn't want to split up the assets and have you guys fight over it. So one of you is not of the family anymore. Sorry about that. But that's been fun. It's been fun. Jokes. I'm joking. Don't give your children away. Christopher Cologne writes, after visiting Naked and Famous last year, I went to the new Schott store in New York City and got my very first Perfecto horsehide, the same one Garrett was showing in the video. Well, there you have it.
Yeah, that's a fancy jacket.
Customer approved. Emerson writes, any particular scent to the leather when new? I guess that was a question asked at James, but I mean, new leather jacket smell is a smell.
Any particular scent to the leather when new? Yes.
Yeah.
Fresh leather. It's like when you walk into a leather store.
Smells like leather.
Probably. I don't know.
You know what smell I used to... A cheap suit store. When you walk in, it smells like glue. Yeah.
I don't
It is. I remember learning because I used to work at Holt Renfrew in the department store. I used to work in suits, and I remember one time, and I was young, I was still learning a lot, and I remember one time, like one of the other salespeople, we were walking through the mall, and they had some like crappy, $99 suits, buy the suit, get the tie, get the, everything is in a box, and it's $100, that kind of stuff. And it was like the jacket, the vest, the trousers, the shirt, the tie bar, like everything is like, cheap. Mm-hmm. And, we walk into one of these places, and he's like, you know what that smell is? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what? He's like, glue. And like, he was explaining like the way they make these suits is that they glue everything together.
Oh,
right?
They're not sewing.
Yeah, but there's some sewing, but there's a lot of gluing going on, and so like you smell glue, and I'm like, that's what it is. And like, anytime you walk into one of those like crappy suit stores, I always pick up on that smell because it's the same smell.
Never walked into a bad store, I don't think. Although,
yeah. Stephen writes, my new Knicks boots came today. My whole home smells like leather now.
Nice.
There you go.
It is a nice smell.
It's a handsome smell. That's why they make like men's colognes and like men's scented candles. Leather. I always like it when I'm like, does it smell like tobacco and leather? It's just like, that's what we want our homes to smell like as men. Tough stuff. Steel. Sulfur, not sulfur.
Not sulfur.
Not sulfur. Don't. You want to cover the sulfur smell with leather, steel. I don't know, molten lava, wood.
Wood is a good smell.
Cypress. That's the best smell. Okay. John writes, question about rise. Does 1 to 1.5 inch longer in the front rise make a big difference on the fit? I want to try weird guy, but worried about the rise. 9.75 to 10.75 is perfect for my skinny self. I mean, it makes a difference. Is it going to make that much of a difference? I don't know. It'll be a different fit.
Yes, it will be a different fit.
I think sometimes people get very, very caught up in the numbers. And
although it's difficult because we do recommend everybody take a look at the measurement guides,
but that's in terms of like getting the right size that's gonna fit you, right? But sometimes like if it's a little bit bigger, you just wear the jeans a little bit differently. Like it might be jeans for a different occasion, right? If you're used to wearing slim skinny jeans, well, there might be times when slim skinny jeans are the jeans you want to wear, but you might also want to own a pair of jeans that fits a little bit more relaxed or looser on you. So I think sometimes, it's just about, having a different expectation for different fits. Because sometimes I see like, people like super guy and they're like, well, how can I size down weird guy enough that it fits like the super guy? And instead I'm like, just buy the super guy. Like, you don't need, or like sometimes people will like get the easy guy really slim so that it fits pretty tight. And I'm like, you can do that. Like they're your jeans. Do whatever you want. But we kind of already made a slim jean, right?
Right. But I guess, rise is a matter of like, it does affect the fit a lot. But, so I went from wearing classics every day, which is, the highest rise basically possible. It's like literally like my waistline, to wearing yo jeans that are like, really hangs onto my hip,
right?
Basically. And like the only thing I noticed, maybe this is too much information, is that like, sometimes it's like I worry about like showing my underwear, like it's just the top of my underwear. I think for men especially, I think that makes a big difference because it's like, like some people are fine with showing off their like underwear belt, like the elastic part, but it might not be like up your alley if you've been down a lot or like
I
that's
sag
the only thing.
all my jeans. All my jeans have to hit me. Like it doesn't matter how the rise is. I wear them on the hip. They're always that low, right? And so that's the way I wear them. So the rise, if they're a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, they're always gonna sit right there on me.
But with that said, my point is that like I adjust to it. Like it's just like it's like I take it as a style on its own. It's just like I'll figure out how to make it work, and I think I know like you want like a perfect fit. Maybe there's like you think about it so much because you don't want to like mess up, and I understand that. But I feel like people need to take jeans a little bit.
I'm gonna say less seriously.
Yeah. Like I think jeans are meant to be like, more casual. It's not suits. It doesn't need to fit in the right places, and it's just you can wear it more casually. It's more of a looser.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I feel like don't think too much about it.
Yeah, if they're the main thing you got to worry about is whether they're going to go on or not, right? If they fit, they fit. If they don't fit, they don't fit. The size is definitely important. Course, but jeans can be worn a little bit loose, easily. If they're a little bit higher on the rise and, they're not comfortable, with you pulling them kind of up where you might be used to wearing some jeans, wear them a little bit lower. So jeans can be worn in so many different ways, and you can really adjust a lot, even if they aren't like the perfect measurement for you. There's easy ways to adjust for that. Sometimes I'll get a message and someone's like, "Well, I just got some jeans, they're too big on the waist. What should I do?" Like,
get a belt.
Well, what alteration can I do? You don't need to. Just wear a belt. Yeah. Wear them a little bit loose, wear them a little bit lower. So you can adjust to that pretty easily. Mm-hmm. And look, if they're 5, 8 sizes too big for you, okay, they're too big, right? But if they're just a little bit high, the rise is a little bit longer than you like, or you're used to, or the waist is just a little bit bigger than you're used to, you can work within that realm, right? But if obviously if they're way too big, they're way too big, or if they're way too small, then obviously they're not going to fit. And, that doesn't matter. But I think you can experiment a lot with jeans, and sometimes if you're in your mind, you think I always wear jeans that are 11.75 inch rise, and my jeans always have to be that, or I'm looking for jeans with just exactly that. You're going to find that maybe you're going to miss out on a lot of things. And if not, a lot of retailers also don't measure the same way, or like measurements aren't always like, the most accurate from one website to another. So you might find yourself missing out on things just because some websites, we measure from this point, or we measure from that point, or maybe they're just not as careful as some other websites. So you might just miss out on a whole bunch of products if you get so stuck on certain numbers. Mm-hmm. If you can button them up, or they're button-upable, and they're in the realm of that they're going to fit, you're fine, right? You'll find a way to wear it. Maybe you don't like having them so loose or wide or baggy in the legs. Okay, I get that. Maybe there's a range that you should consider more than just thinking like, or maybe widen that range that you should consider that is acceptable for yourself. But like some people get so fixated, and we deal with it all the time in like the customer service emails. People say, I'm looking for something with a this, and this. And it's like, if you're looking for just that, it's very narrow. Mm-hmm. Open up your expectation a little bit more, and you're going to have a lot more options. And just open up your mind to wearing certain fits in different ways, right? Yeah. Different fits are going to allow you to wear, skinny jeans with like, Converse and skinny sneakers. Sure. You know what? Wider jeans, not they don't have to be super wide, but wider jeans are going to accommodate boots a little bit better as well. So, consider these things, and having different fits in your wardrobe are going to also allow you to expand your outfit options as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my advice is that, like, I'm sure, maybe you don't have a Naked and Famous retailer near you, and that's why you're probably asking this question. But, just go to any store and try on different jeans, and you see how you feel in, like, ones that are not really what you are, like, looking for and see how you feel. Maybe just discover some things that you didn't know.
Right. And if there's something you learned from this conversation, this thoughtful conversation, as BD says, go hit that like button. Because liking this video shows us how much you like this video. Scientifically proven that by liking the video, it shows us how much you appreciate and love us. So, if you do, this, I'm putting on the guilt. Twisting the guilt. Hit the like button, because it helps us. That was my crappy plea for likes. Okay. Kenny Ingram writes, you underestimate just how neurotic a customer of $300 jeans, sometimes with collaborations of obscure anime shows, really is.
No, I understand that.
We don't underestimate them. We have a dedicated staff. Like Vince right now handles a lot of the customer service questions, and we know. We read I mean, I probably don't read every single customer service issue, but I've read a lot. Thousands of them.
We used to be the ones answering the customer service.
So we are very aware of, the way people sort of treat raw denim. Obviously, we're here to do these kinds of shows and share our information so that, we can, it doesn't just help our customer service, but it also helps educate the community at large. Mm-hmm. And look, I get it. You're getting into raw denim. There's so much information available. What should I do? I'm going to the forums. I'm asking these people. I like the forums. Don't get me wrong. I was born in the forums. I love the forums. But I think a lot of people treat forums like, oh, this is where the experts go to talk. And not realizing that, there's probably, a handful of people in that forum that know what they're talking about. And then everybody else is just, I'm going to say, talking out of their you-know-whats. Because they don't know left from right. I'll see sometimes just, very baseline conversations. And I'm not going to, I was reading some this week, and I'm going to try to be, I'm not going to throw any names or anything out there. Yeah. But I've seen some very, very baseline questions being asked. And nobody could answer it. Just nobody could answer it. And I'm like, you guys could probably answer it because you've watched this live stream and I've covered these topics before. But nobody could answer these very basic, normal questions. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're new to raw denim and you come here and you ask a question like that and you get all of the wrong answers and nobody jumps in to be like, well, perhaps I should have jumped in. And maybe I should jump in more often. Mm-hmm. But, if nobody's answering that, you're going to believe it, right? Because 5 people just agreed with this point, right? And so some people don't quite realize that they're getting bad information and they're using that information to base their, their beliefs on. And it can get tough. So I understand where people are coming from because I know where they're getting their information from. Yeah. And so we have to do our best to kind of dispel some of the things that they read, which they're pretty confident in because they just saw it written down. When people see things that are written, they're very happy to and quick to believe those things. So it's hard to change minds, but we got to do it little by little. And
it's kind of like, when you're in the for instance, for us, when we're working with industry people, people who are actually, whose job it is to know about denim and jeans, we don't, we assume everybody knows, the basics, at least, a certain amount. So we don't acknowledge that most people, this is not a common knowledge, right? Yeah. And then also we come here and, we get our, obviously you guys are, know a lot. So, here, your question level is pretty high, I would say. Very, very high intelligence in terms of, denim. And then sometimes I go randomly like run into a discussion about things, and it's just like I get like put back down to earth about like, oh my god, people do not know, like it's just things that you think that people generally know,
right?
That's not a common knowledge.
No, it really even harkens back to early days of Naked and Famous, and I can assure you it still is prevalent in I would say it probably has gotten worse over time. I was talking to an old friend, and this was a buyer for a very prominent denim denim store chain. Okay, one of the best. And this was a buyer who really knew their stuff, just top level. And this person left, many years ago, and their replacements since have been not as, I would say, not as great as this person, right? They're like, it's just sometimes, you get that Olympic level of, employee, and the next generations they're just not at that level. But I find that in my history of working with retailers, the number of very, very impressive, knowledgeable buyers, and this is an industry where you should know your stuff, has diminished. Like diminished so bad. This is I'm going into rant time. Okay, the competency in buyers, where this is supposed to be their expertise, has diminished a lot. You've got a handful that know their stuff, that have stuck around, and then you have a lot of them that have no clue. And a lot of times this happens in, I'm going to throw the department stores under the bus again, in department store land. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because the good ones are smart, they're intelligent, and they can't handle the stink. Because they're working in these corporate environments where they're just surrounded by incompetence, and they're the only one that is keeping it together, and they're smart. And smart people, just like in every industry, eventually, they got to move on, right? And so these buyers, they move on. Maybe they open their own store. Maybe they go and work for another company that appreciates them a little bit better. That's what happens, okay? And then you know what you're left with? You're left with the people who make the stink. But because they're around and they don't even notice the stink. There's some people that just don't notice the smell. And so they're the ones that are there, and they have no clue what they're doing. So you come in and you're talking about salvaged denim, and they're like, salvaged denim? So where did they find this on, like a boat? Is this like, did they uncover this from a pirate ship or something? That's an exaggeration, but not that far of an exaggeration. They have no clue. Yeah. And then you show them like the Rolls Royce of products, and they're just like, they like, an intelligent person would be like, you guys are charging only that much for it? Like in their mind, like whenever I get someone who's like, wait, for that much? Like, and their eyes glow, and like, that's incredible. And then you have someone who's just like, it's just, it's just one ear out the other, just through their eyes and through the back of their head, and you're like, and I'm like, if you don't see the value in this, this is your job. Your job is to be the discerning eye, to pick the best products for your store, to make sure your store has the best stuff. You can attract the customers, make sure that they have great things. If you can't do it, God help you, because your staff can't care more than you. They just can't. Because
sometimes they do.
You might
it's more personal.
But that's the smart person who eventually, runs for the hills. So you're just left with just, and it drives me nuts. It drives me bonkers.
I used to have this like thing about, because we were doing a lot of trade shows. We were meeting a lot of customers, and like customers that we work with for years and years who know their stuff, and also customers that are not so, even if they work with us for years and years, sometimes they don't know anything, but sometimes it's a brand new customer, and it's just like one of those things where like everybody does, like when people know about salvage, like the first thing they know about salvage is that it's like you flip the cuff and you can tell
Yeah.
that it's salvage or not, right? Like that's the basic baseline understanding of salvage for
Yeah.
a lot of people. And then like, we were talking about like, this is the new jean, like, all these like, the story about this, what went into this denim and all that. And while we're talking, like sometimes a lot of the times people look at the cuff, like they would like touch the denim and they will flip the cuff to see the salvage or not see the salvage, I guess. But like when it drives me nuts when they like flip like a cuff and then they like, they look at the inseam of a jean and then they give up and then put it down. And it's like, I think in their head, what's happening probably oftentimes is that like, oh, this is not salvage.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, but it's on the other side. Like,
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. Sometimes
Right. It's like they know what to look for because they're like, if you see this, it's good.
Yeah.
But they don't know what they're looking for
Right.
or why they're looking for it.
Yes.
Right. There's like the connection, and they've never even had the spark of curiosity to understand why this is important.
Yeah.
Right. And the industry is rife with this. And, the other night we were having a dinner with some of our friends. They're in town in Japan. They have their own brands, and we were just talking about, retail in general, and how, one of the people we're having dinner with, they have their own brand, but they're also a buyer for a store. And I guess one brand that they sell in their store was like criticizing them, like, why are you starting a brand? Why are you doing this? And you're selling it, and he's like, yo, what do you want me to do? Like, you think that the products that I'm selling, that I make on our store are sort of a clash of our businesses, but you also sell your products on your website in competition with our website. So why are you criticizing me? If you want to stop selling, it's like sometimes there's just like this weird animosity between like retailers and brands, and it's just weird because there's just so much. Well, maybe this is a weird rant, but there's a lot of like little nuances that happen between brands and retailers, and sometimes this case I think is a little bit different, but sometimes retailers, they don't put in the effort to support the brand, and then complain when the brand goes and, starts having their own business. Mm-hmm. When we started Naked and Famous, it was very different, the retail world.
Yes. Retail world changed so much
Yeah.
in the past, 15 years. I mean, mostly because of internet. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we started late 2000s, you didn't see a lot of brands selling directly on their websites. Most of it happened where they would sell to a retailer and the retailer would sell it. So there was this we make the product, you guys buy it and sell it, and like you guys are like, we're good at making stuff, you guys are good at selling stuff, so like we work together in this fashion. And then I would say that over the years, the retailers, I think we work with a great set of retailers. So I'm not talking about, our guys or anything like that. I'm going to talk about maybe retailers we had worked with in the past. Maybe they're not here anymore. I'm also mostly talking about department stores where it's like, you guys just didn't put the investments in the brands anymore. And like, I would get calls from department stores, and they'd say, oh, you're selling to this person, you're selling to that person, that's not good, and that's not right. They're in competition with us. This store is close to our retailer location in this city. And I'm just like, you don't buy a lot, right? So you want us to say to that retailer over there that they can't carry our products in that location because you guys carry it in this location. These are conversations we have all the time. You guys would tell us this, but at the same time, I would say, well, that account buys this much a season. Are you going to put that much product in your store right now? Oh, no. We're not going to do that. But what we would like you to do is shoot yourself in the foot, bleed out, just close to death, so that we can buy a little bit of product and basically tell you how to run your business around us.
But like the worst part about that is that if you know, like because we limit our outlets, that as a brand we don't, you know, perform well. Like that's the part that they don't understand. Just because they're the only ones who carry a brand doesn't mean that it actually means opposite of a brand selling itself. Like yes, if you have the power to sell brands from, you know, not knowing anything about it, to be honest, but like, you know, then that might be the case. You can sell them, like if you're the only retailer in the world to carry that, if you can sell it yourself, but you don't do that.
Yeah.
And then if you limit our distribution as a brand, we don't have like a power to rise up above another brand. So like it's actually hurting your business too.
And so when you sell your product to not just one retailer, but many retailers in a certain area, it establishes in that region, it says something that you can sell to multiple stores in the same region. It means that there's some sort of demand for it.
Yeah.
Right? And the people in that neighborhood, in that community, see this as a good sign. And sometimes people, you know, look, there's people who do their research and learn about a brand and, you know, they're sort of convinced based off of their logic and understanding that this is a good product. But a lot of people, the general consumer, they like products because they see products. And if they see this product is sold at this store, this store, this store, this store, and that store, they're like, well, that's the kind of product, it's popular, so I'm going to give it a chance, right? Whereas there might be, and this is the problem with smaller brands, is that, you know, the smaller brand might get into a store, but they have, you know, to get people, that first mover into it, that's difficult, and then they get the next wave of people. It's hard to build this up. And when you have other stores and other retailers in that area that say, oh, this is cool, we're recognizing that, we want to bring that into our store because we think our customers would like it, that's a good sign. Mm-hmm. And like there was, I would say that in the past maybe these things were a little bit stronger, but there was a hard push from, like, you know, one retailer's trying to stop other retailers in their neighborhood from carrying things when they wouldn't themselves say, okay, well, we're going to bring on the investment and really believe in your brand. No, it's just like they like you enough, but they don't want, how can I say it? It's like when the indie band gets big and starts selling out stadiums, like, you know, there's sometimes people don't like seeing that success. I don't think that it's like consciously they're thinking like, I don't want to see you succeed, but they don't want to see other people succeed with your product more than them, right?
I mean, I feel like they feel they lost their ownership of, like, you know, the brand or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I get it, but you like the one thing that they really lack these days from, you know, retailers is that, like, their expectation is that this is a selling brand, the brand that sells itself, so I carry it in my store, and, you know, I don't do anything, and then it has to sell. And if it doesn't sell, then it's a bad performing brand, and I'm gonna drop you.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's in that case, if the brand sells itself, then why would they sell to you at discounted price? Like, wholesale price is much lower than retail price. Why would they do that?
And so with department stores, like, very, like, this is kind of goes to that, where it's like, oh, you want us to promote your brand? Well, you could pay us for marketing dollars.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second.
We can pay us.
You not only, so you're saying that in order for my brand to perform at the store that you purchased the product for, in order for you to put us in your marketing, you want us to pay you. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Why are you sabotaging your own success, right? It's like you brought that product into your store because you felt that your customers would want it, you want to sell it, naturally you would want to sell it. So why are you saying that we're not going to promote it unless you give us money to promote it? And so a lot of brands see this way of doing business and say, forget about it. I don't need you. I don't need you anymore. I have my store. I have my retailer network of people who know how to tell stories and sell product and are doing things the right way. And that's why you see brands in our realm working with a certain group of retailers, right? There's a certain group of retailers that sell the kinds of products we make, because the kinds of stores that we sell to are the kinds of stores that tell stories. They create, a community. They create connections with their customers. They listen to feedback. They do everything to promote the business. And then there's the retailers that don't. And clearly, some of them are still around. They're hanging on by a thread. And you don't see cool brands at these stores anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You just don't. And I'm ragging on the department stores hard.
Because they're the worst. Because they do have the power. They do have the money to buy. They have the multiple locations. Most independent stores have 1 or 2 locations. The department store has so much money that, they can't change the course of the brand, really. If they put your brand in most of the stores that they own, it does change the course of our brand, course of the brand's lifespan. And I give them that just by being in the store, they are visible to people, and they do give us that. But other than that, they would expect, marketing monies, which, why would you? You got, a wholesale price from us so that you can put, selling effort into the products. And then they give us, chargebacks, or it's if we break, a little bit of a rule, if we don't have the label at the right place.
And let me tell you, their rule book is this thick.
Yes. And then you have to buy labels from, their designated, suppliers. I don't know what's going on, in the back end of that, but it's very sketchy.
Yeah, it's I could print these labels in my warehouse.
Yeah, but I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, no, you need to have our labels, and their labels are overpriced. And there's definitely some backdoor dealing there for sure. If you put the shipping label on the box instead of the top right-hand corner, you put it in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, they charge you.
They'll charge you $25 or $50 per box.
And also, they make mistakes constantly too. They claim that you didn't send us this. You put it on the packing list and you didn't send us this, and then we'll go back and check, and it's we certainly shipped you this. It's you who lost it.
You misplaced it. We scanned all those items into the box. You know how I know? Because I have the report. And if it wouldn't be on the report if it wasn't scanned.
Yeah.
So you guys lost it in your warehouse. It's not my problem. You're paying for it.
Yeah. And so things like that really get us it's again, there is the benefit to be in a physical store in multiple locations, but it does is the benefit, outrank the downside of working with that level of
And then you're dealing with people who have they just have no idea the terms of value that you're bringing for the customer, for the consumer, the audience that you're bringing them. Especially now, a lot of brands come with a built-in audience, and it's we have people we can say, hey, you can now shop here, you can now shop there. We're bringing customers to you. And so, they don't really see that anymore. And
they're just kind of a middleman. And middleman is not a bad word in my book. I think it's, there is a reason for middlemen to exist in a lot of cases, but in this case, it's just just the person that gets a cut. Yeah. Basically, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, for doing nothing.
Yeah.
I've been to situations where we're can we come in and do a product training? And they're sure, it's going to cost you this much. You got to provide breakfast. You got to do, and it's just what?
This is gonna help you sell the items that you already bought.
Yeah. It is bizarre how they treat it. Whereas, if you go into an independent retailer, can I come in and train the staff? Come on in. Let's do it, and let's go to dinner afterwards. Let's have a great time. It is night and day, and it's clear why independent retail is booming in a lot of ways. And these large chains are just suffering and struggling. I think that's going to be the way it is. You're going to have very specialized retailers. You're going to have brands, doing the brand stores. and the large chains are going down. They're going down. There was a store in Canada that we went to when we were in Canada last time. And maybe the Canadians in here know, but we walked in there and literally couldn't buy anything. Literally. There was, I'm talking department store floor, like the entire floor.
The first floor.
The main floor.
Street floor.
On the main street of the city. We're talking, like, that's the destination street. First floor. The entire first floor. And we go into the section where, you know, they have, anyway, the things that we are looking for. And there's all kinds of signs, sale, 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 all kind of contradicting one another. Some things have tags on them, some things don't have tags on them. One sign says, you know, this % discount, and you look at the price on the product, it has a different discount, and I'm just like, what does it cost to buy anything here? I don't know what anything here is priced at, and so I'm just looking around. I'm walking around the entire floor, and I'm like, does anybody work here? Is anybody here to help me? I would like to buy some things. I just want some clarification on what is going on here. Okay? At one point, I find what seems to be a security guard who looks no more than 19 years old. This guy was just a young guy. And I'm like, hey, man, what's going on with the pricing over here? And he's like, yeah, it's just, you know, whatever the sign says. And I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot of signs, and they all say a lot of different things, so can I get some help? And he's like, I don't think anyone's working here right now. And I'm like...
It was a weekend.
Yeah, it was a Saturday. And he started looking around for people, and he gave up pretty quickly, which I don't blame him, right? But he was like, yeah, I don't know, someone should be around soon. And I'm like, all right. And so, and Risa and I were there for a good while. Mm-hmm. We weren't there for like 3 minutes. We were there for like 10, 15 minutes, like really looking around. Nobody in sight.
Yeah.
And so we just left. Like, even if I want to buy something from these places, half the time there's nobody there to help you. Mm-hmm. And like this, I don't think that this is unique. This very particular situation is probably unique to this retail chain. Yeah. But you walk into a lot of these department stores, there's nobody there to help you. And if there is, they're clerks at best. They don't know nothing about the product.
They know how to, check the inventory and check the price, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So it's a weird state of affairs in department store land. And certainly from my time working there, where I felt it was a very powerful, strong, important time for them, to the way that things are now, very, very different. Brands have a lot more power in terms of being able to directly reach their customer, tell their stories, provide the best service, and that is going to be much more of the way of the world. Mm-hmm. You've got brand stores, and then you've got very curated selections put on by very high quality specialty stores. And everybody, if you're not in that game, if you're not specializing in a high level capacity, you're toast. You're done. Yeah. You might as well close the doors. Yeah.
The only reason that the department stores are still in business is because they often have other source of income, like sometimes they're landlords. They like rent out spaces for brands or whatever, and also I'm sure they get like a lot of government grants or like investors and all that stuff.
That's kind of what's keeping them alive at this point. No question about it. But I think you will see very soon the retail landscape change a lot. And it's going to benefit the people who are doing the most benefit for you in terms of making the product that you want and delivering it the way that you want. A lot of people rested on those laurels of their heritage and their history and their seemed divinity to your dollars, and it's they're like, we've been here a long time, the customer is ours. Of course they're ours. They don't even consider it. And it's just from the bottom up, from the top down, from just incompetent management, incompetent buyers, and then it trickles its way down to the staff. And that's because, they have no grip on what's going on. George writes, I remember when my grandpa being a retail manager for a women's boutique when I was little. Grandma. I'm seeing things. I remember when my grandma being a retail manager for a women's boutique when I was little. She would keep up to date with fashion brands, etc. Most retail workers today are just there for a job.
Yeah, as long as they show up, like they think they're doing their job.
Yeah, that's it. Alejandro, good to see you, my friend. Alejandro Jomar, he's got a great YouTube channel and Instagram, and I'm sure TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok, so I haven't seen your tics or your talks. I don't know what they're called. They're TikToks.
Yeah, TikToks.
I've also seen brands sublet in department stores with their own staff as well recently.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. They're trying to become landlords, and I think so. If you walk into a department store more recently, you will see that there's this department and that department within. Like there's like this little luxury brand boutique inside the store now. There's a lot more of those, and so they're trying to become landlords for these brands. And the funny thing, and I think this is very short-term thinking, is that a lot of these brands, they often have their own boutique also on the same, main street. So you'll see, luxury brand on the main street, and then the luxury brand is in the shop-in-shop. And it's just a matter of time until they realize that they don't really need to pay that rent in the department store. And just, we're going to save a lot of money, and all the customers are still going to come to our store, which is just down the road. And then they've run out of avenues. Then they're really done. That will be when the luxury brands start pulling their shop-in-shops out. When they start pulling that out, then they're toast because they'll have nothing left. Because our level of brands we're already out of there. None of us are in those stores anymore. Those stores, they're carrying essentially, there's mall brands. And then there's department store brands, and and you'll know them when you see them because you walk into the department store and every department store seemingly has these designer names, but I don't like to name names, but you'll know them when you see them because every department store seems to have them. They don't have their own independent stores in the mall, not yet. That'll definitely happen one day, but they're there. So they basically only carry that, and then they luxury shop, and they usually have a pretty strong cosmetics section. Maybe the cosmetics is keeping them alive.
Cosmetics is because they don't need a lot of space, it makes sense for them to be in a department store in a cluster. Yeah. And, they can do their own thing, and the staff is their staff. They're not department stores, makeup, makeup experts. They're the brands experts that are sent to the department store. So I don't mind that. I think it's a convenience thing.
Sure.
Not every single makeup brands need their own separated retail location. I think that's annoying.
Yeah. But I think that's what Sephora is for and things like that.
Right.
Where
they're
challenging them big time.
Yeah. Stealing a lot of their business, but.
Joshua writes, I remember walking into the store in New York, greeted by you, Bahzad. Not only did you look at me and told me my exact size, but you were very welcoming and very invested in what I was looking for. It means a lot. Well, thank you very much, and I'm glad we had that encounter. But that is, I would say, that level of service is something that I developed from my time at the department store, and I feel like the number of professionles in that realm have diminished. And I've seen it. I know people who I've worked with from back in the day who still work in the industry, and they're few and far between. And anytime I talk to anybody, I would an old timer, they're just man, this new generation. And it's very different. It's very different.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people say, some people are just there for a job. Yeah, some people are just there for a discount, and that's fine. I don't think that's changed that much, from my era till now. But I think that the level of professionalism where people truly treated that job as a career, before moving into Naked and Famous, I was very, like, in my mind, like, I'm going to be here for 40 years. I was like, this is my job. I'm a salesman. I sell clothes. I better get really good at this because this is what I'm going to do. Whereas a lot of people, they're transient. They don't really care. And, I would say that the way that the department stores work now is that, they have these, department store brands, and some of them are hype brands, right? The new flavor of the week, the new trend. So people just come in and buy stuff. So there's not the same level of, like,
engagement.
Yeah, engagement. This is a beautiful suit, explaining why it's so nice, and like that, doing all that with the customer. Or you walk into Naked and Famous New York, staff's telling you about the product. They're showing it to you. They're telling you what's special about it. And so, because there's so much special about it, that's what we're really selling you. And it doesn't happen in that realm anymore. Anyways, very weird long rant. Hopefully you got something out of that. Every now and then I got to get that one. I think I talk about it often, but it's just my favorite topic of just like the death of retail. And it's not, literally as a whole the death of retail, but I would say the death of the retail giant and the way that they held such power over small brands and brands in general, but especially small brands, how they held the power over us and how the tables have turned immensely. I'm talking the purchase orders that they would give us for an entire season. On Tate+Yoko, we can often do in 1 days of business. Right? So it is just, to me, to watch, us like begging for crumbs to being like, yeah, I'm good. It is kind of a sweet revenge in a lot of ways. But from someone who comes from that environment, to watch its death, it's like, you guys ruined something beautiful. You wrecked it. And you didn't have to go this way. There was a way to make it work for everybody.
Yeah.
And not only did you ruin, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs because of this. A lot.
And often people like blame the internet and all that stuff on
the other way around.
And it's the other way around. Like, internet is a new way to shop, and I think like if you're department store and you're not like really early on with it, or you're not like you didn't invest too much into that, it would that must have affected your business, of course. And that's on you, by the way, too. But aside from that, people are still wanting to shop in person, and not offering that option, or very poorly offering that option, not like having a good staff. Like, because if somebody walks into a store in this day and age, like if they're just coming to pick up something, they could have just ordered online. There's no need. People who are shopping in physical stores now, they do this, they do realize that that's a physical store. They want to learn about things from a person. I would imagine, like, unless you're killing time or whatever. But like, it's just, I feel like it's you had the opportunity to take advantage of that by just having all this, real estate, prime locations, and access to all kinds of brands. Like, you had the opportunity to win again over the internet, but it's just, I feel like you missed a chance.
Yeah. Pierre Mora says, Bahzad, I met you at Holt Renfrew in Sherway over 20 years ago. You helped me find the right shirt for a special occasion. Service was iconic. The Sherway Gardens location of Holt Renfrew. It doesn't exist anymore, but that was where I got my start in the fashion retail world. Thank you so much. And thank you for remembering that. It's wonderful. Socram718 writes, I think part of the issue is really the low pay and lack of upward mobilities in retail at the moment. I will disagree with that 100%. I think retail world is far from low pay. It is great pay, especially for the kind of work that you do. Try working in a food court in a mall, and then try telling me that working at the Gap in the mall is harder. It's not. Folding jeans and restocking shelves is infinitely less difficult than working in the back of a Chinese restaurant at the mall, which I used to do, by the way. It's not. Upward mobility is easy. All you have to do in a lot of cases, at the very baseline in any job, showing up is already 20% more than showing up on time is 20% more than everybody else you work with. Don't call in sick all the time. Just show up. Do literally the job as asked. You're already 20% ahead of anybody else. And do 5% more than that. Maybe do the upsell. When they say, hey, at the counter, and you ask somebody if they want to, add socks or whatever to their order, do that. Just do a little bit more. If in terms of pay, sometimes it's an hourly rate thing. You can ask for more. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Oftentimes, if you show that you're a shining employee, you're going to get that assistant manager. You're going to become that manager real fast. And if you're in a commission-based sales, where I was, if you want to make more money, just make more money. Go and sell more. Just do it. If you're selling a suit, shirt, tie, well, sir, did you know that this suit and shirt and tie is a great combination, but you can get more wear out of that suit if you also get this shirt and this tie, and this shirt and this tie, and maybe these socks. And all of a sudden, you took a suit, shirt, and tie sale and turned it into a suit, 3 shirts, 3 ties, 5 socks sale. And that's not ripping off the customer, by the way. All you've done is shown the customer how they can enjoy this suit in a bunch of different ways and get more wear out of it. And they were happy to pay that price.
Yeah.
Because they were happy. Because you showed them all these awesome ways that you can enjoy that garment.
Customers still buy things that they don't want to buy just because somebody suggested. If they buy it, they want it. They want it, so they buy it.
Yeah.
But I think it's also part of it that the lack of, I'm not saying that every retail job has to be commission based. Certain places are not meant for that, but luxury department stores are certainly meant for that. That is the correct way to handle it, I feel. And the thing about that is if we rag on luxury brands all the time for what they offer for the price, but I do give them that they still have that commission-based salespeople, and I can tell because they try hard. They are professionals. Whereas, I don't think you can avoid that if you give them the same amount of money, whether you stand around and they don't even manage you properly, then they're not gonna do it's just you become lazy. You are. In clothing store, oftentimes there are times that there is no customers to talk to, right? That's a given. And when that happens, what you do in the meantime makes the difference between a good employee who is going to get paid more and the employee that's just, there because, they showed up and we need people to show up. That's the biggest difference. Yeah. And then if you throw commission on top of that, then you're definitely more motivated.
I went from a very minimum wage warehouse environment to working in fashion retail where my wage was better. Just off the bat, it was better than minimum wage. And I was very happy with that. And it took me a while. I wasn't a great salesperson from the start. It took me a while to develop my craft, and that's the thing. It takes time. It takes time to learn any skill. And I just remember me getting a paycheck and being, pretty satisfied with it. And my colleague, who had been there probably for more than 10 years, his paycheck was way bigger. Way bigger. Way bigger. And we worked the same shifts. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I see. He's not getting paid more. He probably had a better hourly wage because he's been there for a lot longer. But he wasn't getting paid that much more money than I was because they liked him a little bit more than me, or because he had a little bit more tenure than me. He was outselling me like crazy. I stood around. You know, I didn't push people. You know, I wasn't a suggestive seller. I didn't know about these things. Somebody came in, oh, I want to buy this. Here you go. Oh, I'm here to pick up a white shirt. Here you go. That was me when I started. I didn't know any different, right? And I had to learn. And when I learned the craft of selling and making sure that people are leaving with the things that they need. If you're coming in for a white shirt, what else might you need, right? Oh, maybe we have a special on socks and underwear today. You know, just because the sign is up doesn't mean you read the sign. Mm-hmm. And you just, sometimes all you need to do is mention it. Oh, there's a special right now going on. Oh, we have maybe we have a tailor to measure service that we're going. You came in for a shirt. Oh, but did you know we actually have a special on suits right now? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, let's take a look, right? Nobody's going to be forced to buy anything, right? But sometimes they might be intrigued by the things that you have on offer. And you have to make the most of that as a salesperson, and you can certainly sell a lot more. And when I started learning that by offering customers what they want, you can be very successful in that business versus just taking the order, it's a tremendous difference. And yeah, if you're just going to take the order, you're going to be a sales clerk, not a salesperson, then you're going to get stuck in a low, situation. But
yeah, and but coming back to that, like that is the that's a value that department stores or a lot of retail stores offered, and they don't offer that to the brands anymore.
Yeah. And
brands can sell themselves better, even though like most of the independent stores that that opens up retail location, they don't hire like the most professional, highest paid salesperson.
Yeah.
But they can train them.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, I think.
Jameson Keating writes, facts. People are happy to pay more money, sometimes absurd amounts, when you include a fun experience plus information. I was bewildered by this as I have never been wealthy. Right. Junior writes, incentives work. Kyle D writes, luxury retail is cool to work in unless you're in a mall. I was in a mall, because then all the jabronis that have no business coming into your store come and treat it like a zoo. You definitely have to deal with some jabronis walking in and some tire kickers, and that's just part of it. You definitely have to deal with it. Not every environment is, as ideal as you would love it to be, but that is the environment. And, if jabronis are in there kind of wasting your time and this and that, you also have to know how to professionally move them along, right? Yeah, it's just the way that it is sometimes. I love the word jabroni, by the way. I'm glad that you used it. Rice W5, I see some staff interact with customers so badly, what I'd never do in the shops I've worked. Yeah, it's sometimes night and day, the way I feel with what's going on in retail these days. Kyle D, it takes a long time to build a clientele. That's right. Working as a salesperson is a long game. It is not something you're going to be... Some people might be immediately good at it, but for a lot of people, it's going to take time. If you can size... Even it took me a while to realize that I could size a customer up. I could look at a customer and say, you're this size, or... Like I loved it in jeans, but also in suits when a customer is looking for a suit, and I don't ask them their size or nothing. You pull the suit, you pull the shirt, you pull the tie, you put it all together, the whole thing. You put it in the change room for them. You're like, here you go, and they're like bewildered for a second, like I didn't tell you my size or nothing, and then they come out. You adjust their shirt and everything. You put it all, make it all look nice, and they walk and they look in the mirror and they're like, that's why I came here. That's right. That's why you came here, because we are professionals. We know what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to move on.
Move on. So a lot of raw
Topic
denim
for
talk
them.
today. Anyways, we got a little sidetracked today with all the retail talk, but anyways, little
As usual.
war stories from the past. That rant took a while to get off, but anyhow, I hope you got something out of it. BD writes, heck, you guys make us feel good about the things we've already bought from you. You still care about the things you make when people have them. 100%. 100%. We want you to enjoy the things that you own. And, sometimes I find myself, I'm sure we all kind of feel this way every now and then. I'm like, I've got a hole burning in my pocket. I want to spend some money on myself. I want to buy something. I spend all this time researching. I would love it. I just find that retail is difficult nowadays in certain ways. To walk into a store and somebody to show me something cool, right? I love it when that happens. Like, oh, we just got this thing and it's this new gadget, it's this new whatever. I want to be sold something, and sometimes you're in that shopping mood. I'm going downtown. I'm going shopping. I want to see something nice, and you walk into a store and nobody talks to you. Like that's such a terrible, it makes shopping boring. You don't want to do it. Anyways, okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, let's talk about something else. James and Keating, did you bless us with a fade check already? I haven't. So let's do a fade check. I mean, I'm not wearing the most faded jeans in the world, but this is my solid black selvage. I wore these for a previous Indigo Invitational, and they get a decent amount of wear. I mean, I've been wearing my dirty fades for the most part. That's probably seen like 80-90% of the wear in the last year and a bit. But these have seen a lot of good wear, and I like how well they're fading. I like having a faded pair of black jeans. Still lots and lots of life left in these, but you can see just kind of how nicely you can get a pair of black jeans to fade. Wonder Looper Ultimate Pima Suriyami t-shirt. I've got this Naked and Famous Denim Slub Rinsed Denim shirt as well. Not so faded, but
Did this come back in stock or something?
I don't remember.
I think we remade it.
We made it.
Remade it.
We remade this. Yeah, at some point. I don't remember if it's in stock at the moment though. Anyways, we have to double check. I got the G-Shock on the wrist, carbon fiber G-Shock. So speaking of burning a hole in my pocket, I wanted this and then I bought it. So happy to have this one. A little bit rare. I think I bought the last one in Japan because I was looking for this one pretty hard, and like every retailer was sold out. And I found one store that had it, and we went to it. And
I don't know if it's the last one in Japan, but
it
was the last one in that store, according to the staff.
Yeah. So we walked in. I couldn't find it anywhere else. I mean, I saw it on like secondhand sites, like selling it for like above retail, and we walked into the store.
On like a department store website, and like in the west of Japan or something like that.
So we walked in, and it was kind of a fancy watch store, and it was raining, and I was not wearing I was soaked and kind of gross looking. And I'm like, God, do you have this one? And like, they had it. And the lady was like, it's the last one. And I'm like...
But I knew she was going to say that.
Yeah.
Even before we got into the store. Like, she is going to say... Well, not she. I didn't know who's going to say that. But, like, they're going to say that it's the last one. Like, you should just be prepared for that.
Anyways, it worked. Whether it was or it wasn't, it worked.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, you were obsessed with it at that point anyway. It was just like, okay, well, like, you see it, you buy it.
That's it.
Otherwise, you're going to regret it.
I definitely would be complaining about not buying it if I didn't buy it. So I liked this watch a lot. Carbon fiber, and it's super, super lightweight, and like the pattern detailing on this is so awesome. And it's a G-Shock. I like my G-Shocks. So that's my fit check for today. What do you got, Risa?
I got my trusted Naked and Famous canvas, light canvas.
Yeah.
What do we call it? Yeah, rinsed Oxford work shirt. This I don't know. I have that for years and years, and I wish we would still make it. It's such a nice like lightweight, fades really well. It's got a lot of nice, like, you know,
puckering. And
yeah. And then I got the Wonder Looper Ultimate Pima Tsuruyami. I've been wearing these jeans for the past few months non-stop. It's the Strong Guy Nightshade Stretch Selvage, previously worn by Mr. Bahzad over here. That's why you see
my
this,
cell phone
like,
fade.
cell phone phase. I don't put myself over here, but you know, it's pretty faded for me. Yeah.
There you go. Chilla Sack writes, I'm a big Seiko fan. There was also somebody in the chat earlier asking about if I had any Grand Seikos. I do not. I would like to own one day. We did go to the Grand Seiko factory earlier this year. We went to do a tour. It was very beautiful there.
It was very beautiful there.
I would say that I like G-Shocks because they're low-key, right? You know, most G-Shocks are, you know, just, I have a lot of G-Shocks, but, you know, classic, you know, rubber G-Shocks, they last, they're tough, they can handle anything. They make some premium material ones, too, if you want to have something that is, you know, a little bit nicer in terms of finish. But ultimately, this G-Shock and this G-Shock, you know, on the wrist, they look and wear very similarly. So I like that because it's a low-key kind of product. You know, it's a G-Shock, right? It's a Casio. And I think Seiko also brings that to the table, where they make a wide variety of products, and they make a very ultra high-end product in the Grand Seiko line. But unless you know, you don't know, right? And so it feels much more like a product for the person who bought it. Sometimes I feel with flashy watches, right? There's a lot of flashy brands out there. Sometimes you're buying it because you want other people to know you have that flashy watch. And I don't subscribe. You know, I have a handful of things here and there, but you know, I don't like things to be super flashy. I like them to be a little bit more, you know.
I feel very embarrassed sometimes when I like have like, you know, like a nice brand. Like clearly somebody can recognize things. It's just like I look like this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm too
I'm very casual.
Yeah, exactly. That's why G-Shocks are great. They're also very tactical looking, which I really like. It's very rugged.
They're tough. They're tough. That's what they're designed for. They're designed to just take a beating.
Yeah.
So,
not that we do any kind of outdoor activities, but it's nice to know that you can.
Yes. Yeah. And even with, I'm just an ad for G-Shock now, but even with like their premium material stuff, titanium and all those other ones that they have, they're pricier, but they all have to pass like the G-Shock like standards. So like, you know, the ruggedness, the drops, like the waterproofness, no matter how like whatever finish they do, they all have to perform at the same level. So I love that about these watches.
And if they don't make it, then they'll just become a Casio watch and not the G-Shock.
Not G-Shock, right. Nicholas Vilpu writes, I made the mistake of stopping into the Tudor boutique to see if they had the new monochrome Black Bay, and they had it.
Ooh, what happened to that?
I think we know what happened to it. It's that definitely happens. It definitely happens. You know, this is the thing that you want, and then they have the thing that you want. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet. It's okay. At the end of the day, you won't miss the money.
Yeah. And whatever makes you happy, makes you happy. Not everything has to have a grand reasoning behind it.
Yeah. Sokram writes, yes, flashy watches can get unwanted affection or attention, especially in New York City. Yeah, there are some places where a flashy watch might not be the best thing to wear. So, anyhow, there's definitely an advantage of having a low-key watch that is, different strokes for different folks. Some people I sometimes look at a flashy watch and I think it's very flashy and ostentatious, but obviously there are people who will look at that watch differently and think, hey, I like it for myself too. I'm buying, you buy that G-Shock because you like it? Well, I buy this flashy watch because I like it. Fair enough. Not everybody buys that watch because they want other people to recognize their
100%,
status or whatever. 100%. I'm not
you
disparaging that. I'm just saying.
If you're comfortable wearing that, then all the more power to you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So enjoy what you enjoy. There's no wrong way. But my preference for myself is to have things that are a little bit understated. I also like Tudor for that reason also, because it's not the Rolex, right? It's the Tudor. And I find that, like, I don't know, it may be people who are much more educated in the watch world to tell me, but like I feel like they're the same thing. But, people know Rolex, but watch people know Tudor, right?
I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not a watch person at all, especially not like a luxury watch person. But I even heard of Tudor, so I mean, they're definitely not like a super.
I just find that it doesn't hold like the same level of cachet among like the average person.
Perhaps it's just Rolex became like just like this. It's kind of like Ferrari, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like I'm sure there's like things to be said about like their performance versus another luxury sports car's performance, whatever. Like I don't know anything about it, but it's like if you were to use a blanket brand for a luxury sports car, it would be Ferrari. Like you know what I mean? It's just one of those things for watches.
Yeah. John Chan says we'd love to see a Naked Famous G-Shock collaboration one day. Me too. Yeah, Jameson Keating, Tudor is great. They really are almost the same. Yeah. I was looking at some like vintage Tudor watches a while back, and like I like the ones with the little rose on the top, and I thought they were very classy looking.
Yeah.
I think eventually I will buy one of those. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, I would, in my personal purchasing, I would much rather have the vintage Tudor watch, because I don't want I don't know, there's just something about it. I like that it's a little bit more low key, and I like that big rose that they have. I just think it looks classy in a way that maybe some other bigger brands might. I don't know. For me, the attention that they might get is not what I'm looking for. But that said, if the good people at Rolex want to send me something really, really, really nice, I'll take it. Or if someone wants to gift me one. If anybody wants to send me...
not me.
Not you. Man, great. I'll take it. But I'm not going to buy it. There you go. Chili Sack writes, that's why I have the SLA line for Seiko's. Only true watch people will know. Right. I think watch people really respect what Seiko does. And like a lot of people, if you're just in the general world, you just see Seiko, oh, it's just Seiko, They don't really have much of an opinion on it. It's just,
I never had an opinion on it. I had the watch that I had, like I wore every single day for the longest time, probably like 6 years straight, was a Seiko.
Right.
And I really don't care about Seiko. Like I just, that's just. Right.
It's just a,
it's just a watch.
So some people might feel like Timex, where it's like they make a watch, but I don't know if I'd write home about it. I also like Timex watches. I have a whole bunch of like Timex digital watches that I love and I enjoy. But yeah. So anyways, there's a lot of watch talk here. I mean, we can all have different opinions on it. I'm not like the super watch guy. I like digital watches. I love digital watches. They're my.
It's easier to read.
Way easier to read. They're my preference. I also like the fact that they keep time really well. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but I'm sometimes very obsessed with like the second even being the right time. And so, like, you get a mechanical watch and, trying to get that all lined up perfectly only for it to, like, not be right the next day. It drives me nuts. Whereas, like, my Casios, they have multi-band. They have the exact right time every time. And I love that about them. They have these great features that keep them on time.
Knowing that is a sense of security, I feel.
Yeah. Anyhow, the Raven writes, I also love digital watches. Been wearing a Casio for 3 years now. Right. So, anyhow, there's a lot of great watch fans in the audience. I got to get Michael Iron Snail on one of these live streams. We could talk about watches. He knows a lot more than I do. I'm very junior in this world. Though I try to stick into the world that I like, which is mostly digital. Okay, guys, I want to do one more thing before we get into snack time, and that's to remind you that we are still a denim company, and by that we sell jeans. And right now, if you go on tateandyoko.com, we have a sale. We have a sale going on for our Labor Day extravaganza.
Yeah, so everybody has a long weekend this week. Huh?
It is our Labor Day sale. Save up to 60% off. So we've got a lot of deals going on. If you click over here, Labor Day sale, you click all, it shows you all. 15% off, 30% off, 50% off, 60% off. There's a lot of juicy goodness happening. Let's go over here, and you can see the Spring-Summer 24 collection. What's left of it is on sale right now. Some products have more sizing availability than others. Some things are, slow to go or fast to go. But there's still some good 34 and Easy Guide tried and true salvage. That's a classic jean right there. You can't go wrong with that. So there's a lot of options here right now. $113. Holy moly.
Even though when you click on it says 20% off, it is actually 30% off.
Did it say 20? Oh, yes. Right. The top of it. Because this was the 20% off collection, but it's all been marked down 30% off.
Marked down during the sale. Yeah, special extra markdown. So it's only during the span of the sale. So you might want to take advantage. Extra 10% is not nothing. Yeah,
it ain't nothing. So take advantage. Obviously, sizing will diminish as time moves on, but when we started the sale, there was a lot more. Things are starting to move. True Guide 32, 33, 34, black by gray, grab those. That's a great jean. Blue Comfort, Weird Guy 31, that's a good size.
Good size.
It is a good size. That's if you're a 31, that's a popular size. Yeah. So
now
check it out. 32 Weird Guy Craftsman Salvage, $159. You can't go wrong with that. Even if you need to hoard something for Christmas, now is a good time. Because what will happen after the sale is that these prices will go back to their original sale markdown. So these items that are in 30% discount right now will go back to 20. Things that are in 50% off markdown will go back to 40. The 15% off sale stuff will go back to regular price. So the next time things like this will get marked down again is Canadian Thanksgiving, then Black Friday. But by then inventory is going to be a lot less. So if you're thinking about holiday presents, Christmas isn't that far away. So maybe consider some things right now. Also, good deal happening right now. Buy 2 get 1 free on circular knit T-shirts. So you can take advantage right now. Add any 3 of these circular knit T-shirts to your cart, and one of them will be a special price. And that special price is free.
And that's a great deal because, these, you need basic T-shirts.
Right.
Like so a lot of them. And these are good T-shirts.
Great T-shirts. And so just here, there we go. There's medium. Let's put 3 in the cart. Hopefully we have at least 3 in stock. Add that to the cart, and you will see that the discount is going to be applied automatically. Labor Day sale knits. So you're getting, they're $35 a pop, 2 of them, so that's $70, and then the third one over here, $0. You got it absolutely free. So take advantage of that, and if you want a super pro tip, this wasn't working at the very start of the sale, but I did fix it, and you get 50% off a sweatshirt with the purchase of anything. So technically, you could double dip right here. You can. So if you like that sweater right there, you click on it. Just add that to your cart. Double extra small. That's the size that everybody wants. And then, biggity bam, you saved 50% off on that too. So not only do you get a, did it work? No, something didn't work here. Did I go back to regular price?
Wait, how is no, there's...
Oh, no. So yeah, it doesn't combine like that. Oh, I thought it did. Okay, so it reversed something. I'll see if I can get that fixed. But I thought it was working. Anyways, if you tried that and it didn't work, I'll see if I can get it to work after this live stream. But or maybe it doesn't quite combine. I'm not sure. But within 20 minutes of this live stream ending, it's either going to work or it's not going to work. And that's the way it's going to be. Sound good?
All right.
All right, we'll figure it out. I thought it did work. So we'll figure it out. So either it works or it doesn't work, but that's going to be the answer. But that said, if you buy anything on the sale and add a sweatshirt to your order, it will come at 50% off. So if you buy a sale jean, for example, and then you add the sweatshirt will become 50% off. So anyways, I'll see if I can get those two promos to combine, to stack. I'm not sure if I can. It might be a limitation of the website. But if I can get them to stack, then take advantage of the stacking. If I can't, then you can't. And that'll be that. Okay. Everybody, let's roll into snack time.
Okay,
because we've got a good one. And everybody likes it when we do a spicy snacks.
Right.
So we've brought the spice from Korea. A Japanese version of a Korean potato chip. And if you guys don't know, recently in Europe, in the EU, they banned a whole bunch of Korean spicy things for being too spicy. It was too spicy for Europe, but not too spicy for us here on the live stream. We're going to see if we can handle the heat.
Okay, it's a bulldog chips, and it is like a soupless like noodles. You know, like noodles in Korea, like an instant soupless noodle, and so that's the taste. So I guess it's made from this spicy noodle flavor.
All right, let's do it. And all right, let's see if I can do it. Oh, they're really. I just don't want to pop the bag. They're really.
But I really hate.
See, I got it a little open there.
Oh, okay, it's almost there.
My hands are slippery now. Let's get a scissor. I'm gonna.
You're almost there.
I'm gonna break it. It's gonna explode. There we go. Okay, fine. I did it. I did it.
It's very orangey in color.
Very orangey. I don't know. It doesn't smell so spicy. We're gonna find out though. Is there a warning on this?
No, it doesn't say warning.
A lot of spice on that chip.
It's chili, habanero, red pepper, black pepper.
Habanero's in there, eh?
Blend.
All right.
Yeah.
Tingly.
I'm starting to feel it. It took a long time for the first taste of spice to kick.
Oh yeah. They're spicy. This is a high level spice. They're not messing around with this one.
Yeah, it's spicy. It's not very like.
It's not like
obvious. It's not. It takes time to feel the spice.
It builds up.
Makes it's slow burn. But I like it. It's not too like salty either.
No, I would say on a spice level, this is like a maybe a 7 out of 10. Hot. Not disgusting taste. Not like so hot you can't eat it. It's a tasty spice. It's gonna tingle. It will wreck a kid. I think if a kid ate this, they're gonna have a very bad 15, 20 minutes. They're not gonna enjoy their life for that time. It's gonna be very hot. But as an adult,
angry chicken on the table.
if you like spicy chips, it's a great chip. It's gonna provide a great spice that is not too disturbing.
Yes.
If you are weak on spice, you can't handle it that much, this is a great challenge.
And if you want to open a bag of chips, but you don't want to eat the entire bag, this is a good level. Because it's not going to destroy you, but it's going to deter you from eating the entire bag. For sure.
Well, there you go.
Right?
I'm feeling it. I'm liking it. Woo. Wow.
It is yummy.
So,
it's a good Korean taste.
Samyang chips made with fresh potatoes from Korea, but this is the Japanese release version of it. I'm sure if you go to your local Korean grocery store, you might be able to find
I wonder if it's
chips.
like a toned down version.
Ooh, it's really tingling me. And there's a whole bunch of other flavors here as well. Maybe there's some even spicier ones. But
the yellow one says cheese.
Okay.
And
is there a red one there? It looks.
Oh, wait. So this is the original, the red one.
Okay.
And the one in the middle, the orange one is cheese. Quattro
Fromage.
And then the green one is habanero and lime.
Oh, okay. So like a little
tangy.
south of the border flavor. So there you go. Look for these chips. I'd recommend them. That's a nice spicy snack. Nicholas Vilpu writes, where did you find them? We got them at HAC. Hack Drugstore. They had them there. And, okay. We're going to leave it there. Everybody, it's been great. Melody Murray writes, my cat Garbage is watching Snowy.
Aww,
we often call him Garbage because he likes to eat garbage. Isn't that right, Snowy? And that, of course, is a reference to Garbage, the cat from The Office. So everybody say hello to Snowy. Say goodbye to Snowy. We'll be back again next week with the Naked and Famous Denim Raw Denim live stream, the greatest Raw Denim live stream in the history of the internet, where we just discuss all things raw denim and nothing else.
Yeah.
As you guys know.
Today's live stream was entirely about raw denim.
You got it. So we will be back 7 p.m. Eastern next week. Tune in, and we'll see you. It'll be September. That's right. So, happy August, everybody. And